How's it going, everybody? My name is Snazzy Patty, and today, man, we are checking out a video. This video is called Things You Realize As Soon As You Graduate High School. Now, as always, the link to the original video is down in that description below, but without further ado, man, let's just lock in and get on with the video.
These are things you realize as soon as you graduate high school. Number 1, your high school social life does not matter at all. The moment you graduate, you're gonna forget about 95% of people you went to school with. Seriously, all those people whose opinions you cared about, you will never see them again. For me, this was a simultaneously frustrating but also freeing realization. It was frustrating because it made me realize how dumb it was all those times I overanalyzed my appearance or my attitude or the way I talked to girls. I mean, every guy at least once throughout high school has tried to be the silent, mysterious, cool guy, sitting in the corner thinking
I did it a few more than once, but we ain't gonna talk about that. Anyways, he's speaking facts right here, though, because seriously, none of that shit matters. Soon as you graduate, like, not even, like, day of graduation, it never mattered in the first place, but that's when you really see it. I mean, thankfully, like, kind of saw it, like, I already realized, like, it didn't really matter, like, towards, like, halfway through high school. Honestly, really started 8th grade, but I still somewhat cared, and then sophomore year, I really just stopped giving a single fuck, honestly. But yeah, on top of all of that, too, like, your friends in high school, majority of them will no longer be your friends. Not like y'all have a falling out, but y'all will just grow apart and go on with your lives in different paths, and that's normal. It's gonna happen. Not all of them, but a majority most of the time will, if not all. You know? But that's good, though, because that kicks you out of your social circle. It could, put you into an uncomfortable situation where you now have to grow as an adult and be comfortable with yourself and learn how to make new connections on your own without being put inside of, like, a place that, like, forces you to, because you're in school, you're gonna have to talk to people and stuff like that. I mean, obviously, you can see...
everyone thinks he's Bruce Wayne, but then you get home and realized you didn't talk to anyone all day and just wasted your time. When you're in high school, you think the stakes of your social life are so high and that if you publicly embarrass yourself, it's gonna haunt you forever. But literally the moment you get home from graduation, you realize that your social status in high school did not matter at all and you will never see any of those people ever again. And in that sense, it's very freeing because if you didn't like the person you were in high school, you can just close that chapter and start fresh. And once you graduate high school, your friend group is most likely going to change a lot and you're going to have less friends, but they're going to mean more to you. Because in high school, a lot of your friendships are going to be based out of convenience. In high school, you're going to be friends with people because they're in a lot of your classes or maybe they're in some of your extracurriculars. And honestly, a lot of the time, you're only friends with those people because you're in such close proximity to them every single day. But once you graduate high school, you really are free to find friends that are like you and more aligned to your goals.
Yeah, I honestly think this is a good thing, though, because your friends in high school, like he was just saying, are usually out of convenience on, they're just ease of access. They're there. You're going to talk to them. You're always going to see them. But once you're out of high school, those same people are no longer as convenient to hang out with. They all got jobs, y'all got lives, and things keep you guys away from each other. And through that time apart, you will just grow apart and distance each other, which necessarily, like I said, isn't always a bad thing. It's normal for people to grow apart and to just let it be. And exactly like this guy is saying, it gives you that opportunity to branch out and make new friends, meet new people that better align with your interests and your hobbies.
So if you're in high school right now, shoot the shot, talk to the girl, don't be afraid to make a fool of yourself, and if you do embarrass yourself, realize that 99% of people will forget about you the moment they graduate. The next realization...
Look, I'll say this. I wish I embarrassed myself more in high school and in school. I was just so over it all and done with the place, and I didn't like anybody there, and I was on my edgy shit, so I was literally just, oh, I don't want to be here, hoodie up, let me skip school, let me go smoke and be a burnout. And that is honestly one of my biggest regrets right there, because I should have taken the opportunity of my school, and even if I wasn't like a 4.0 GPA scholar or whatever, at least been more active and participated in like curriculums, extracurriculums, and shit like that. Because honestly, middle school, high school, it was a waste of my time because I did not get anything out of it, and that's on me, not on anybody else but me. And thankfully, I've grown up and realized that there is nobody else to blame but me. And yes, it sucks that there's nothing I can really do about it now. About that, the past is the past. but now I can grow, like going forward, I can grow and, try to catch up on things I lacked or things I didn't get to do in school that I want to do.
You will have as soon as you graduate is that 90% of what you learned in high school is completely useless. Now, you were probably already aware of this while you were in high school, but it becomes all the more evident as soon as you graduate. I don't know sales, marketing, or how to do my taxes, but I know what an ionic bond is. Thank you, public school system.
And see, I don't, because I didn't participate and I didn't pay attention in class. So I don't even know that shit. So I mean, at least in that case, I saved some space in my brain for more important shit to understand.
Because the content of what you learn in school will be so irrelevant to you after you graduate, it makes self-education all the more important. If you're in high school, especially if you're 17 or 18, you probably already have an idea of what you want to pursue after you graduate. And I think that it's extremely crucial that outside of school hours, you educate yourself in that field. It's going to put you at such a head start and advantage over your peers once you graduate. But I'm not saying that you shouldn't focus on the content of your formal education. Obviously, your grades are important for
make sure your grades are good to pass and to get where you want to go in life. If that's college or a really like prestigious college, get that 4.8 GPA, join those extracurricular activities that'll make your resume stand out and stuff like that. If you just want to do good enough to pass through because you already have a plan, as long as you graduate with a high school and you actually have a plan, like going to trades or something like that, and a legitimate plan, not no stupid plan like, oh, I'm going to be a content creator or I'm going to be a musician or something like that. Because most people that live those lifestyles, they're doing it as a hobby and they're not making it a career. It's not something that pays their bills. Yeah, I wasn't even talking about like being more active and like paying attention and having better grades and stuff like that. I just wish I was more social in school, honestly. Actually hung out with people more, talked more, made more friends, shit like that.
College apps and job applications and stuff like that. But truthfully, the most valuable skill being a good student in high school will teach you is having a strong work ethic. If you're someone who's taking AP and honors classes and are the type of student that works really hard, even if you think that what you're learning is pointless and ultimately a lot of it is, just understand that your ability to work hard is growing stronger and ultimately your work ethic is going to be one of the most important skills you will have in the real world.
You're literally developing your work ethic skill and being able to tackle tasks that bore the shit out of you or that you really don't want to do. You still suck up and do it anyways because you have to get it done. And that's a big thing I wish I actually fucking did in school. Because I was a notorious procrastinator. Everything I was turning in late or on the deadline of a project. I wish I had learned that skill of development of just get it done over with now so that you can relax. Because think about it. You get an assignment, you get it, and it takes a month before it's due, right? You get that done the first 2 weeks, really grind out to get done 2 weeks. Now the next 2 weeks, you don't got to worry about it. But I didn't realize that. And I was too much of a procrastinator and too much of a lazy bones to ever do that.
This was a big issue for me because I was a good student throughout school, but only because I wanted to match the expectations of my parents. So I would do just enough to get that A on the report card, and then I would completely give up. This led me to resent school pretty much throughout high school, and I had a pretty miserable time. But I think a better perspective to take is that I am someone who has big goals, and I want to be someone who is capable of working extremely hard. So even though learning that the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell is not congruent to my goals, when I study for the biology test until 2 a.m., I am becoming someone who's more capable of working hard, and I can use that skill later down the line on work that is congruent to my goals. The next realization you'll have once you graduate is that there is life beyond school. It sounds odd to say, but high school was so structured and restrictive that once I graduated, freedom felt weird. It's like, oh, now I don't have to wake up at 6:30 and ride this cold school bus while the driver is blasting morning radio while I'm trying to get an extra 30 minutes of sleep. In my opinion,
and this could actually be very bad for you because a lot of people, when they do that switch, are because even for me, for example, when I first had that switch, I was like, what do I do now? So I spent my whole summer lazing around, being my first summer after I graduated, being a bum, lazy around, sleeping. Which, I mean, that's fine. Enjoy your last summer vacation or whatever. That's what in my eyes. But then I let it become a bit of a habit going into September was rolling around, and I kind of just was still like, what do I do with myself? Had no plan, no idea, and was just a lazy bum. Let's be honest. And that's such a bad habit or situation to fall into, and once you're in there, it's almost like a rut that gets hard to get out of. So if any of y'all are graduating soon and you don't know or have a plan of what you're going to do, you're not going into college or a trade school or like that, or have a job lined up, man, start thinking about it and figuring it out, man. You can enjoy your summer vacation, but let that be your deadline, man. Get your shit situated, not full. You don't got to be a full, working adult, at, fresh 18. No one has their shit figured out at 18, really. But try to have a plan. That's all I can say.
College is way better than high school because you pick what your classes are, you pick when they are, and you get to choose what you do with the rest of your week. Now at the age of 20, it sounds odd for me to say, but when I graduated, I had this epiphany that my time actually belongs to me. Because throughout high school, my time essentially belonged to the school. I had to get up early, ride the bus to school, spend 8 hours there, come back home. By the time I got home, it was already 5 o'clock. Then I had to do 2 hours of homework, eat dinner, and by this point it's 9 or 10 o'clock, and you have to ask yourself, do you want to sacrifice your sleep to work on something that you want to do or have fun, or do you want to get a nice 8-9 hours of sleep and spend no time for yourself? I think this is the biggest flaw in the education system because all it really does is train you to be a mindless worker. But once you graduate, you sit back and you have this moment where you realize you can choose what to do with your time. And that independence is very, very liberating. The next realization that you'll have after high school is that life moves at 2 times speed once you graduate. I graduated in 2023, about a year and a half ago, and the time...
Damn, we're the same. We graduated together then. Class of 23, man. Hell yeah.
Between then and now has zoomed by because high school was
that's a fact. Time flies after high school.
It took forever. Like it was a 4-year prison sentence. But my entire freshman year of college was like I blinked and it was over. I think that being present in the moment is truly the secret to life. And when I am present, time doesn't seem to slip by as much and existence is more enjoyable. And the last thing anyone needs is to blink and wake up and wonder where their 20s went. So
yeah, please, man, that's one of my biggest fears. I'm a very much believer in every once in a while stop and smell the roses because you might miss it or whatever the Ferris Bueller quote is. Because what's the point of being on this like massive grind, locked in for your entire life, working just for you to still end up on your deathbed alone because everyone else moved on with your life and you're old and sick and you're gonna be forgotten in like within the next generation or 2 generations at most. So take this opportunity, take your one life and live it to the fullest. Whatever you want to do, pursue it, find a way to achieve it.
If you're in high school, your perception of time will likely change after you graduate, and don't think the slow pace of high school is going to be your life forever. Make sure to always be present or you're going to miss a lot of life. The next thing you'll realize once you graduate high school is also the most important thing you'll realize, and that's you have to take accountability for everything in your life. The modern education system constantly reinforces the idea that nothing is ever your fault, and I think that's one of the most dangerous ideas that has been perpetuated over the past decade or so. Once you graduate and you have to fend for yourself, nobody cares about your disadvantages. And even if you have legitimate disadvantages, let's just play it out to the extreme, okay? Say you feel as if you're being held back by your ethnicity, gender, disability, or some other reason. Okay, you will never be successful. Is that what you want me to tell you? Because I can almost guarantee that someone has had it worse and done it better. I'm a big sports fan, and I often think about Manny Pacquiao, who was so impoverished he had to turn pro at the age of 16, and he was so malnourished that he couldn't even make the weight for the lowest weight division. Somehow he came from abject poverty in the Philippines to one of the greatest boxers of all time. If he can do that, I'm fairly confident I have the resources to achieve my goals. Comparison goes both ways. You don't have to use it to compare yourself to people who have more advantages than you.
Yeah, don't compare yourself to the people who had it easy in life with the silver-fed spoon and go ahead and flexing on Instagram and all that bullshit. No, compare yourself to the people that came from the struggles, the bottom of nothing, and they still took whatever disadvantage they had in life and they rose to the top and became the greatest of whatever it is that they wanted to do. That's what you should compare yourself to and use that as motivation and inspiration, not as a way to make yourself feel less than.
Just remember someone telling me there are 2 words that will get you out of whatever struggle you're going through: my fault. Because I'm not that far removed from high school, I still remember it pretty vividly, and I can say with confidence that 15 to 18-year-olds are very capable. And I think that coddling these people in a very formative period of their life into thinking that none of their shortcomings are ever their fault is very dangerous. You will never achieve your goals until you realize that you have to take accountability for everything in your life. Please follow me on Instagram. I read my DMs if you have any ideas to tell me, and I'm posting once we hit 30,000 subscribers, so check me out.
Hey man, that was a dope video. I enjoyed that, honestly. Check out Roydy. I think that's how you say his channel name or whatever. Hey man, that was a great video. Like I said, man, make sure you show your love and support. Anyways, with all that being said, make sure to like, subscribe, put on those notifications, do all that good shit, and I will see you guys in the next video. Stay safe, stay snazzy, stay blessed.